The big headlines now out of New Hampshire. The Republican field indeed narrowing. FIORINA, Governor CHRISTIE have dropped their presidential bids, leaving a field of 6. And that includes Trump, John Kasich, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, and Ben Carson.
Those are the remaining standing candidates out there. John Roberts live this morning in Florence, South Carolina. So, John, South Carolina is well known for some pretty tough politics. How's it looking down there?
Bare knuckle, in fact, is what they call it, and the punches have already started flying. We're at the Venus restaurant in Florence, which is where Jeb Bush will be holding an event in just a little while. You know, barely here even 24 hours, and already the ground is beginning to scorch underneath people's feet as the candidates attack each other mercilessly. Ted Cruz trying to win over voters in this very conservative state by attacking Donald Trump as not being a conservative. Trump, who you saw in that big event last night at the livestock arena at Clemson University, which is interesting because he drew that big a crowd in the conservative upstate, which may bode well for him. Really is focusing most of his fire on Jeb Bush. Bush relying on deep family ties here to try to finish well on February 20th. Here's Trump.
I don't want to waste money on ads for the guy because he spent $20 million on negative advertising against Donald Trump. I don't even know this guy. $20 million. Remember I called him a low-energy person? He's a low-energy person. I said he's a stiff, and I said that if he was in the private sector, he wouldn't be able to get a job. Other than that, I think he's excellent.
Bush, meantime, is battling on 3 fronts, hitting Trump for not being a serious candidate, Rubio for lacking the experience to be president, and Ohio Governor John Kasich for once calling for deep cuts in military spending. For his part, Kasich trying to glide above it all, continuing the positive campaign that catapulted him into 2nd place in New Hampshire.
I'm not going to be a pincushion or a marshmallow, but I'm also not going to spend my time trying to trash other people. I'll tell you why. Because if this message works, it's fantastic.
There's a lot at stake here in South Carolina. The delegates are still being proportionally allocated, but 50 up for grabs here. That is nearly as many as Iowa and New Hampshire combined. So obviously people want to finish well here, Martha.
Yeah, it's a big state. It's a great point. Marco Rubio obviously didn't have a great time in New Hampshire. What's he doing in South Carolina to try to turn that around?
He's going to spend most of the next 9 days in South Carolina talking to as many people as he can. But, Martha, he's really focused on this debate coming up in Greenville on Saturday night. He had a near Rick Perry moment, some people say, at the last debate. What he hopes to have in South Carolina is the kind of moment that Newt Gingrich had back in 2012, where he hit one question out of the park and went from well back in the pack to win South Carolina. That's what Rubio's hoping for. We'll see if he gets it, Martha.
We will see. John, thanks.